Dewalt nut gun. It's been a while since I had one of these ones on. Running. No, not running. Working, not spinning the anvil. Working otherwise. Yeah, we'll get on there. Dewalt's handy, as in you don't have to open up the whole machine to get onto the gearbox. There's a problem straight away. That steel ball. See where this one is? Down inside the actual anvil, or the hammer weight. This one's up here. That one's actually snapped in half. What's the rest of her like? Dewalt's is one big motor unit. It's a sealed unit, so it's fine to run it without this part in it. Gears look good. This gear in here is alright. So I'd say it's just this. I could hear some rattling around there. So this is jammed. Right, wash this out first. Right, a wee bit cleaner. Just take this apart as well. Now, what's happening here? Spindle for your armature goes on through here. Engages these gears. That rotates this whole section. So this is what's spinning. So as this spins, this your actual hammer is what engages your anvil. So that anvil sits in here and locks in there. Right? When she reaches that point, she can't go any further. This hammer slips over. The anvil can't move. So the anvil has to compress this here big spring, drop down, right over the top of the anvil legs, and then snap back up and engage the anvil again. So that's what's actually happening. Once it drops down, it can go over the top of the anvil, come back up again, swing around and hit on the other side. Same thing happens over and over again. The hammer is actually dependent on these two steel balls, there and there. This track cutting this here shaft locates the two steel balls and allows this hammer to go up and down and up and down and around. So it stays fixed to this, but it can go up and down along with a spring, keeps it all together. What's happened is that ball there snapped, broke clean in half, and it's now jammed the hammer in compression. So that hammer should really be sitting up here in line with this anvil. So this isn't really a home gamer fix because this is a big spring. to sit this down on a bearing press, compress the spring more, get them balls out and replace them before putting new ones on and releasing the pressure. That's basically the only way to get this fixed. But you can buy them balls, you can buy the hammer, you can buy this whole spindle as well. So as long as the spindle is not damaged, this should be easy enough to fix. So we need to compress this, press this to compress the spring, then we can get these steel balls out, release the pressure and dismantle this to take the hammer off, check for damage. If it's okay. If it's okay, then we can rebuild it. Your damage there, that's your problem. There's your trouble. One smashed steel ball, or ball bearing. Bit easier if you magnetize the screwdriver. That's strange. Two balls and a broken piece. Where the hell did the broken bit come from? That's an odd one. Release your pressure now. There are the two balls for the hammer. And that is a broken steel ball. It's jammed it. The only other place that can come from is in here. And that already feels stuff. Now there's definitely damage here. That's your spring. And that's the shaft. Doesn't actually look like too much damage. Just a wee sharp burr there. Well, we may get away with that. This is probably where it came from. This isn't a bearing inside, this is just a thrust bearing. These are just sitting loose. I would say that's where that came from. Maybe not. Just check the size of these. Don't even have to measure that. It's obviously not that. So they're okay. So where the hell did this come from? That is nearly the same size as these. I would say that's just the way it's broken. Seems a wee bit smaller. If I had to guess, try it that way. Yeah. Standard ball bearings about 6.5 roughly. These are a wee bit different. These are actually a 6.3. If I were guessing, I would say that was assembled wrong. They made that there. They put on one too many steel balls into that race. So instead of there being 2, they ended up with 3. Whenever it started to run then, one of them got smashed. And it's been lying in the gearbox since. And it was only now that it dropped down and actually pinned itself into the hammer and shaft and jammed it. This is actually a 2018. This is actually a 2018 machine. That's the only place I can see that ball coming from. There's none sitting inside the anvil, like in the Milwaukee. That one's just sitting on the end of the shaft. You know it's sitting on the end of the shaft, because there's the wear mark around the outside. If one of them was in here, that wouldn't make contact. It'd be too tall, then it would actually bust the gear casing. So I can only assume that was a mistake. That should never have been in there. Test now anyway. Get this rebuilt. Get it re-greased. Test it out. $27 of them. Washer on top. And your spring. And your shaft. I need one on there. And one on this side. Make sure they go down opposite sides. That's her. See, I'm fully installed. So now with them sitting correctly, that anvil's installed. It's sitting flush with the hammer. So that's the way we want it. Now all we need is a bit of grease and rebuild it. A little bit of grease under them. Really doesn't take an awful lot of grease to keep these running. And if you over grease them, you're just risking the grease leaking back out the back and under the motor housing. Just a little bit of grease is all you need. Gears are just located with these steel pins. They're just held in place by this steel washer. That just sits there loosely and presses against the back of the motor housing then. That's about all the grease you want. Maybe a wee bit down that spring. That's about it. Relocate this back onto your armature spindle. Tighten it all down. That's better. That's her. That was a funny one. There's no other way for a steel ball to get onto that there housing. So it had to be a manufacturing fault. Oh well, sorted out now anyway.